But first, what do you know about Kirklees politics? Jordan Gardner has been exploring the history of the elections in our towns and villages and brings us this.
With the general elections just around the corner in May, and factoring in how we witnessed and influenced history in 2010 with the coalition, parties are sharpening their knives once more for the rollercoaster ride. Wherever you look over the coming months, I guarantee there will be no escaping the buzz. And why should you? Young voters have always felt distant from the whole politics scene. If you still haven't decided who to vote for, or are just plain lazy, let us be your guide as we show you past voting patterns to help make up your mind. In 1987, Maggie Thatcher continued in office for her third stint as Prime Minister. Coming behind Conservative that year was Labour's Neil Kinnock, and in third, the disbanded Liberal Party's David Steele. It was to be the Iron Lady's last swan song, however, and she voluntarily left in 1990. John Major, also Conservative, officially took over at the next general election in 92, coming up against Neil Kinnock once more, and the newly formed Liberal Democrats Paddy Ashdown in third. He remained there until Labour did force their way into contention for the upcoming 1997 election. Tony Blair was a fresh face and a fresh party incumbent down at number 10, and he spent not one, not two, but 3 general elections on Downing Street. He was voted in for a 4th term, but left 2 years into that, to make way for Gordon Brown to take the reins for just 3 years. Coming up to 2010, so quite recent now, and we all witnessed history in the United Kingdom when it came to a hung parliament for the first time in 36 years, after the majority could not be decided amongst the nation. David Cameron and Nick Clegg have been working alongside for 5 years now. The question on everyone's lips as we approach May is, who will be next? Swiftly on to Huddersfield. It may not be a thriving metropolitan, and we may feel distant from London and central government, but you can really be as involved as you want to be. And remember, your voice really does matter, both here and at number 10. If you want to see positive change, the student population really can make that happen. If you're confused by the information we've given you with the national politics, don't worry, it gets easier from here on in. We can assure you, the political history of Huddersfield is not as scattered as that of central government, and one man has flown the flag for the area since 1983. Barry Shearman has also represented Kirklees in Parliament since 92. He is a Labour politician, and this year comes up against tough opposition, with the Conservatives closing the gap to a little over 4,000 votes last time out. We met with modern British historian Paul Ward at the iconic statue of Harold Wilson, perhaps Huddersfield's most famous son, to learn what Kirklees gets up to when voting is concerned. Has voting in Kirklees always shown consistency, or have there been peaks and declines?
Huddersfield and Kirklees are much like other parts of the country, really, that they've generally seen a decline in voter turnout. So across 50 years it declines from around 80%, 4 in 5 people voting, to actually being 60%, 57% last time I think, so it's in decline like most places. It's difficult to know whether the numbers will go up again. I think they're probably stuck where they're at.
In your estimation, has there always been sway for one particular party?
Huddersfield's been represented by Barry Shearman for Labour for quite a long period, but if you look at the other constituencies around, like Colne Valley, Dewsbury, Spen Valley, actually they change hands quite a lot. So Colne Valley has seen Labour, Liberal Democrat, Conservative, quite a lot of changes, and that's quite interesting. We're quite a volatile set of constituencies.
How much does a small catchment area such as Kirklees affect shifting powers at the very top?
Well, I think that's a question about what politicians think about different parts of the country. It might be suggested that we're in the wrong part of the country to really matter. We're in the north of England, and that on the whole is seen as somehow peripheral. If things are tight, then a small number of MPs can have quite a big influence. But if majorities in Parliament are secure, then it's actually not clear that a small group of MPs can have much effect.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Imagine Huddersfield as this pie. It's filled with tasty opposition to Barry Shearman and flowing with juicy voters who want the best representation for their region. As opposition to Barry Shearman's tenure comes full circle, it's getting extremely interesting, and I want a slice of the action.